I said I would make a Soul Dancer tutorial a while ago, so let's finally do a breakdown of one. So I'm level 89. Yes, I am lazy with leveling. So here's my stats. Um, as you can see, everything is fairly balanced. That comes from gears. The most incremental increases that you're going to see from your stats comes from your gears. It's the main place that you get all of your secondary stats from. So if you look at my gears here, yes, they're not perfect. I have terrible luck with some of these, but you have water attack, magic attack, CDR, crit, AP. The one I'm missing there is MS. But as you go down through all the gears here, there's a repeating pattern. That's what you want to have happen on all of your gears. Okay? That's not only going to level out all of your stats, but it's going to give you those spikes in your stats that you need to actually be competitive and to be more of a quote unquote support and PvP DPS kind of thing. Now, if we go to my allies here, I do have a bunch to choose from, but this here is more of an all around set that I use. It's PvP, PvE, it's high damage, a lot of buffs from this. Um, my allies, the only one that's a tier 3 is my one right here. The rest are tier 2. So they're not huge. I'm not getting the max potential from them, but they're still very good. You're going to gain a lot of CDR, a lot of MS, a lot of damage and crit damage from this build. Next with pets. Pets are a huge boost once they're level 100. So if you go to the stats here or to the skill chips, before you open them up to legendary, which we just got, you can only have 6. As of now, you can have all 8 slots open, which is one of every skill. So it's not really going to matter which one you have in there first, as long as you get them all. Now, the difference between the Abyss Dragon and Kuma is just this ultimate skill. Personally, I like the Abyss Dragon. It's super handy in PvP, especially in group PvP. This one more so for PvE. From there, we can look at the mounts. So if you look at the mounts here, even with the very first one, if you do all your refits and your sprays that you can for them, you're going to gain massive amounts of stats. More so with the higher tier mounts than the lowers, obviously. But it's definitely worth it to spend a few coins to get the spray paint and the refits done on all of these. Next, the skills. So the skills that I use aren't necessarily the ones that everybody should use, but this set here is perfect for PvE, PvP, DPS kind of thing. So if I'm running Yakuza, I'm using this set. If I'm running Haunted Knight, I'm using this set. If I'm running, you know, Day of Liberty, I'm using this set. Now, if I need to keep somebody alive, this is the set I'm going to use. This is strictly for dungeons, for boss, things like that. Um, Outside of that, let's do the deep talents here. So for a PvP, you're going to want to fill up the full left side. And then this top one on the right hand side adds 10% damage. PvE, you're going to look more towards the healing bonus. So you're going to do the 2 left ones and these 2 right ones here. Not necessarily worried about this HP. It's not going to give you that big of an increase. Next, we look at EX skills. So I have the Whisper of Ancient God Drak. So it increases everything 2 levels. Outside of that, if you didn't have that, or if you're not level 3, I'd say go with Scorch. It's super handy for PvP against BMs and fighters. And your light beacon is going to give that 40% CDR that you need with your S grade talent. So from there, let's go to cores. So this is my current core setup. There's 9 fire, 5 water, 2 wind. The reason I chose this is because adding an earth core isn't going to drastically change my HP. It only goes up like 100 to 200k, if that. My defense will go up 300 across the board, but it's going to drop my CDR 2k. It's going to drop my AP 2k. Or, I'm sorry, not my AP, but my smite. It's going to drop 2k. So it's just not that worth it to be able to take 1 or 2 more hits instead of having the sustained damage. So, other than that, that should wrap things up. If you have any more questions, leave a comment and I will address it.